So we've had a chance to use our Vermeer TR90 tedder rake in the hay fields now, and I'd read a lot about this tedder before I bought it. Some people say that any rake tedder combo is not very effective at both raking and tedding. They're good for one thing, but not both. We kind of had to learn this tedder like you would do any other piece of equipment and figure out you know, what makes it work. But basically wanted to show you this Vermeer raking and tedding hay in one video to kind of give you an idea of whether it's delivering the mail or it's not. This is the windrows off the Crone mower conditioner, and then this is what the Vermeer Lely tedder is doing. Comes my son with the 5055D and the Vermeer tedder rake. See these windrows a little better from up here in the Massey. I think it's doing a pretty good job cleaning between the roads. I hated them smashing them with the tractor, but the only way I know to get a hay wagon on the other side. I'm gonna hook up the John Deere baler next. So when we first got this rake tedder and put it in the field, I was somewhat skeptical about its ability to rake hay and ted hay decently, and I'm not sure what conclusion you came to looking at the videos that you just saw, but I feel like it does pretty good. This is different than a hay bob. It's a different design, and I guess there's other tedder rake combos out there. I thought it did a great job with the windrows. We had to set the tines down close to the ground to get an effective job of picking up all of the hay, or just about all of it. And you'll see in some of my longer just haying videos as they come, you know, I'll express a little bit of skepticism, and then over the course of some of those videos it'll graduate to, you know, we're really pleased with this tedder rake. We're especially pleased with how made a windrow. They're just nice and fluffy and big, and filled up the pickup on my baler, my John Deere 348. And you know, we'll probably get a bigger tedder at some point, but in first cutting hay, this is almost a 9-foot rake, and for a heavy first cutting of hay, you know, that's about all we want to put in front of our John Deere. And I've talked to other people, and they're kind of the same way in heavy first cutting hay. So, but as far as you know, tedding goes, at some point we might get a wider tedder. I'd actually like a 6-basket tedder, and then for second cutting, where it's thinner, and instead of moving windrows over, I'll probably give strong thought to a wheel rake. But we still got our roller bar rakes, our New Holland and John Deere, so we may just put a couple of tractors out there in the field to gather up second and third cutting windrows that are really, really light. And you know, it's not the ideal, but on the other hand, it doesn't cost us any money. We just got to put somebody else on a tractor and put another rake in the field, or for that matter 2 rakes in addition to this one. It's also important to note that this Vermeer TR90 is really a Lely 300 Combi tedder. It's painted Vermeer yellow and has Vermeer decals and nameplates on it, but it's a Lely design all the way. And Vermeer and Lely had a deal going with hay equipment, mower conditioners, tedders, rakes, and I'm not sure what all the specifics were, but in any event, this is a Lely machine, and I would like to see Vermeer bring this tedder back. This has been discontinued, and but I would like to see him bring this tedder back, because on a small farm, it's an economical machine to buy and put in the field in many ways. There's another variant to this tedder, and it's called the Lely 600 Combi. And the 300 means 3 meters, and 600 means 6 meters. And so they make a 4-basket tedder just like this. And what's slick about it is there are 2 cages you can set on here, just like this tedder. So you can rake up 2 windrows at one time and just cut your raking time in half, at least on first cutting, where you're not trying to move a windrow from one side to the other. And you know, based on my experience with this tedder, I would consider the 600 if it was in this country. Just a little more info on the Lely hay tools side of things. So AGCO bought the Lely hay tools, part of their business. I guess Lely is, their big thing is dairy. And we have a Lely fertilizer spreader that's really good. Or, I mean, it's ancient, but it's been a really good spreader on this farm. And but AGCO bought the Lely hay and forage. They got the mower conditioners, they got everything, round balers, square balers. There's a square baler called Welger. I don't know how you pronounce it or spell it. Welger. I'm not real sure, but I'm not sure they're making that baler at all. I know they discontinued all of the hay tools. However, on the Massey and Fendt side, at least in Europe and the UK, they have reintroduced some of the Lely Tedders under the Fendt and Massey Ferguson colors, and they're called the Lely name for their Tedder, I think, was called Lotus. And so this is really a this is really a Lely Lotus Combi 300. So they're calling it, for example, a Fendt Lotus. I think there's like a 717 or something, I forget. There's 3 different models that I've seen on the internet, and you'll see an X next to their designation, and they are the Lely design all the way, and they have these hook tines that can move from rake to Ted position. And so what I'm hoping is, in as much as Vermeer and Lely, that whole deal's over, I think the product is still good, very, very good. I mean, if you go on some of the British forums, they have high regard for Lely and their hay tools. But what I would like to see is, obviously Fendt is going to be the high end, the big, they've got the ideal combine, and they're going to get the biggest and the best of everything. And Massey Ferguson is not too far behind. Even in Europe, they have the ideal combine. What would be great is on the Massey Ferguson side, where they have tractors that come down in PTO horsepower to 35 horsepower or less, that they reintroduce this Tedder, and the step up, they reintroduce the 600. If they would do the 600 in Massey Ferguson colors and offer it here in the United States, it would definitely be a serious contender when and if I ever buy another machine. And we're going to have a bigger Tedder on this farm at some point, I feel pretty certain. But it would be sweet to have a Tedder rake that would make 2 windrows in one shot. And again, I paid half or less for this rake Tedder than I would have paid for a dedicated hay rake or Tedder by itself. I'm talking about a quality Tedder. I might have paid a little more than a heavy duty Coon, just like what I had, but not much more. And part of the reason the smoking deal was on this was because it had been discontinued, and this rake had sat on the dealer's lot. I feel like it's been on there for a year. I saw it last winter sometime. It was before Christmas, I'm pretty sure. Once I read up on it, I thought I'd buy one and kind of hope for the best from the parts situation standpoint. And so when I went to find one, they're like, none of them are, there's only a few of these things out and about on the dealer lot. They weren't that popular in the first place, and I don't think Vermeer did a very good job of marketing these things. I'll never understand, because on a small farm they're an ideal machine, and you got one machine that takes the place of 2. So think of the space savings inside your barn when you go to store it. So I was glad to get it. I think it does a fine job. One of these days we'll probably go bigger, but there it is, the Vermeer TR90 Lely Lotus 300 Combi. That's a mouthful. And we'll have more videos of this Tedder and rake, and some of the clips I've had in this video, they'll be rolled up in some of my other hay and tedding videos. So hope you've enjoyed it. Hit the like button if you have. Feel free to comment, subscribe,